Cheers. Like my haircut? About. Well, now, if someone says I look fresh, I won't know if it's because of the alcohol free or because of my new haircut. So, I'll let you know though if someone says, Paul, you're looking more healthy. Yeah, we'll see. Came across this new band today, which I thought was cool. If you like Sleep Token, there's a new band called The President. He's got a mask on. Reminded me of the movie with the presidents robbing banks. What's that movie called again? Can't remember. You remember the movie? It's got Flea in it and Keanu Reeves. Anyway, the band I'm talking about, President, they were really cool. I laughed at a part because it's got the cross and it's like, scare them to worship. I'm like, oh, this is scary. Maybe it's interesting because one of my videos I was just talking about the fear of the Lord in my Bible readings. I was like, oh, there's a reoccurring theme for me. Scare them to worship in the fear of the Lord. Anyway, I'll put a link down there if you're into heavier music and into being scared and worshipping. Anyway, I need to move on. Making sure I'm video 21. Cheers, what are you drinking today? I've been doing the tea a lot. I've still got the red juice in my fridge, but tea has been the go-to lately. Write in the comment what you're drinking with me today. You joining for the first time? Maybe drinking alcohol or not drinking alcohol. It's your life, choose. I'm doing an experiment, learning a lot throughout the video series. I've learned a lot, and my shifting relationship with alcohol has been very interesting. I'm glad you joined me in the journey. It's caused me to stick with this. It's all about my accountability. That's really why I'm doing these videos. If no one watches them, that's fine. I will watch them again in 10 years' time, just for interest's sake, to go, oh, what did I say to the world? I'll be like, ugh, did I really say that? The interesting thing is, in 10 years' time, will I be drinking? Will I use this series in the future to talk to myself, to say, let's get a handle on this again? Sometimes you have to try a few times in a shift before it fully sticks. And I'm prepared to keep visiting myself if I choose to become a regular drinker again, and I might have to revisit these thinking patterns, and watching myself and talking to myself in the future, I think will make it more powerful, isn't it? Oh, come on, you know you can do it. You did it with the video series, so you can do it again, Paul. I'm talking to me in the future. So, our headline culture and the science of sharing. Cheers to that. Chink. Abraham Lincoln quote, "The problem with the internet is that it can be difficult to confirm authenticity." Okay, obviously Abraham Lincoln didn't say that. He was long dead before the internet came into existence. Let's read the quote again. I don't think I fully got it. My brain, I was still trying to work out the Presidents of the United States movie. It's a surf movie. It's still, it's bothering me. What is it? Can't remember the name of the movie. Anyway, I'll just forget that. I'll reread the quote and try and stay in the present. The problem with the internet is that it can be difficult to confirm authenticity. Abraham Lincoln. Now I get the joke. It's not an authentic quote. All right. But I think that little joke makes the point that it's difficult to confirm what is true online. We all like to stay informed and feel smart, yet we're all extremely busy. So we don't often take the time to confirm what we see or read online. We live in this headline-driven culture where we're constantly scrolling through headlines, whether it's on social media or the bottom third of a news show. Clickbait. We don't have a lot of time to digest and analyze the millions of pieces of information we're bombarded with each day. We don't have enough time. So we read the headlines and trust the actual news story, article, or video is true. Yeah. It's need to do research ourselves these days. A lot of the time the headline is there to just get you to engage. After all, it's the news. It has to be fact-checked, right? Wrong. In this age of 24/7, 365 news cycle, there's simply no time to check stories for accuracy. 20 years ago, there was time between when a story broke and when it actually was reported. Interesting. They need to get it out straight away before fact-checking. That would be true. It's the first news, and then they shift the articles as, you find that there's a release every 3 hours on an event as they're updating the information that they got. 20 years ago, even if it was only a few hours, that was enough time to collaborate stories, double check statistics. Journalists prided themselves on accuracy and a lack of bias. Yeah, because it's just the news at night. So they had all day to get the information. Groundbreaking news, here we are. But these days, the media is required to pump out new information. Point Break. It just come to me. Movie, Point Break. Did you write it down in the comments for me? Thank you. It's weird how the subconscious works. I fully decided to forget about it, and then my subconscious must have been working on that problem, and I'm halfway through a sentence. Point Break comes up. Brain is a wonderful thing. I will continue reading this book and my subconscious can relax now. I gave it a task. What's the name of that movie? I will dive into the subconscious. I find that stuff really interesting. So follow along with me. I'll do some more research, especially on, I said earlier, when we were talking about how we'll have weird dreams at the beginning of this experiment, Annie said they don't know why we have dreams. I'm gonna finish this video series off with finding more information about the dreams, because I was having weird dreams at the beginning of this, and I'm really interested in dreams and what our brain is doing in that moment. So we'll end this series with doing that, I've decided. So, you're going to learn about that. Are you excited? I am. Dreams. Do you have weird dreams? At the beginning, when we talked about that, some people say they don't dream at all, but it's a skill that I have developed after watching Inception. I really practiced in that movie. When you're dreaming, you come up with that question, where was I before this? So I used to ask myself that question in the dreams all the time, and it would cause me to realize that I'm dreaming. And I was practicing waking up and remembering dreams, and since I did that, I remember dreams a lot easier. So I guess I've told my subconscious that it's important for me, so therefore it's like, okay. Whereas before that, the subconscious was like, he doesn't care about remembering what I'm doing while he's sleeping, so I'll just throw it out. He hasn't got enough memory in his brain box. Delete that. So maybe people who don't remember dreams is pretty much they don't remember. They probably did dream. And if they practice the skill of remembering, they maybe have more dreams than they realize. I don't know. We'll dive in deeper. I'll get back to the book. What sentence was I on before Point Break popped into my head? The internet, I'll just start at the beginning of the page. The internet is a content beast that's never satisfied. We can't feed it fast enough. And if an organization does get called out for a mistake, they can easily change it with a few clicks. That's reminding me of 1984, how information was getting changed. He was talking about the internet way before the internet. A really interesting book. If you haven't read 1984, have a bit of a read. You probably read it for high school. Keep reading, Paul. They don't have to print an correction in the next day's paper or give an embarrassing on-air apology. Besides that, our culture's collective attention span is so short that even the most scandalous misreputations are quickly forgotten, even if they misrepresent someone, saying they're in this sex scandal and it goes through court, they hype it up and they find out that it was wrong. You usually don't hear about the good news about that person. You only hear about the bad stuff, and they don't follow up the report because that won't get a click. Oh, all the reporting we did was wrong. The more clicks a story gets, the more money a site makes from advertising. So is news these days more about clicks and getting revenue rather than providing true information? Question mark. The writers know this, and so they manufacture headlines designed to make you curious or angry, so you click the link. Chances are you know good and well that the article is clickbait, but you go ahead and check it out anyway because the headline is so compelling or it's so frustrating, creating an emotional response. What are they going on about? Of course, it doesn't matter what the headline says because the body of the article, which most people don't read, goes on to explain that the headline wasn't true, so that makes it okay in their eyes. And here's the facts that you don't read. Social currency. So we're exposed to news stories and content that may or may not be even remotely accurate. But it doesn't matter because we don't have time to read past the headlines anyway. And then what happens? How do such blatantly false articles get shared across the internet and go viral? Good question. The science of sharing says that people share content that gives them social currency. That means we share things that we think will make us look good in other people's eyes. The band I spoke about earlier, I did share that on my social. And to think about it, I did send it for social proof, social currency, because it's a really new band. And I want people to go, oh, wow, Paul's on the pulse with the bands. I play bass and I want to get into playing bands in the future. I used to play in bands. So I'm trying to make friends in the local music scene. So me sharing a new band that I know no one will know about gives me social, he's on the pulse with bands. So that's the reason I did. It's true. That's the reason I did share that. And that's the reason I'll be linking it in the description down below to make you go, oh, that's a cool band. Paul's got band cred. Yeah, we share things that will make us look good in other people's eyes. Does it, so am I share? Does it make you think I'm cool? As we discussed, anything that confirms our own personal bias or makes us look smart or hip is hip to be square. Or funny. He's weird, he's not funny. That's what gets shared. Anything that makes us feel bad or uncomfortable gets ignored. Because consequently, positive articles about alcohol are shared far more than ones about its negative effects on our lives. That doesn't get shared. This video series is not helping my YouTube algorithm. It's a good thing that I really don't care about how many people watch this video. It's all about I've explained. So talking about the bad effects of alcohol, she's just saying that it won't want to be seen. It won't get shared. people I don't share this with people. I don't want them to know. But thanks for joining. What does any of this have to do with drinking? It comes down to conditioning. We see all these headlines about the benefits of alcohol. They get shared over and over again because they confirm our beliefs and make us feel good about our behavior. If we're drinking more than what we want and see a headline that says red wine contributes to heart health, great, okay, I'll keep drinking. Thanks for supporting. We have a reason to feel good about our wine habit. And we'll probably share that post. But how accurate is that article or video? Really interesting. Just speaking about wine then, I think that's the first time we spoke specifically, but I was like, I felt it in my mouth and go, I could do the wine right now. It's quite interesting. My brain was like, yeah. I didn't feel like alcohol at all today, which is good. And I thought, yeah, I'm making progress. But then I read red wine, and I was like, yeah. I felt a little emotional urge. Yeah, red wine, good idea. And we'll probably share a post that makes us feel good about our wine habit. And how accurate is that article? We won't look into that. Does drinking red wine really help your heart? Or are there chemicals in red wine that might help, and might you get those chemicals a safer way, like a nice green salad. Green salad helps your heart. Who knows? Few people will actually dig into the article or the article research to find out. They're just like, oh, I like the idea of that. Share that with all my drinking friends. They'll only read the headline and keep on drinking, even though there is overwhelming evidence pointing to the negative effects of alcohol on the heart. Remember that repetition mimics truth. It mimics truth, but it is not true. Repetition mimics truth. So the more often we see a headline about red wine and heart health, the more likely we believe it and repeat it to others. Oh, do you hear that red wine is good for the heart? Chink. Another example is a study that came out about dementia in alcohol. At first glance, it seemed to be saying that if you were a moderate to heavy drinker, then you were more likely to live longer and have better brain box functions. One headline read, moderate to heavy drinkers are more likely to live to 85 without developing dementia. Let's dissect that for a minute, shall we? First of all, if you're scanning headlines, you probably digest only the first half of the headline, meaning you'll think that heavy drinking helps you live longer, which is absolutely not true. What was the headline again? Moderate to heavy drinkers are more likely to live to 85 without developing dementia. Okay. Even if you still think heavy drinking is good for your cognitive health, which is ironic because there's actually a condition called alcohol-induced dementia. But most people don't know that, and they're not going to dig into the article or read the research to get to the bottom of that headline. We have to be journalists ourselves doing the research to get the truth. I did that because the headline didn't jibe with what I know about alcohol's effect on our health. Not only was the article seriously flawed, but also the study itself was questionable. And the caveats at the end basically negated the entire thing. But the news cherry-picked certain pieces of information and pulled them out of context to match their bias that drinking is good for you, and people will like the article, they will click on it, share it with their friends, they'll make more revenue. Even though they're cherry-picked. Funded by the alcohol industry. Many of the studies on the health benefits of alcohol are actually paid by the alcohol industry. That might seem ridiculous, but it happens all the time. The industry is getting ready to spend in the neighborhood of 100 million on a new round of research studies. Whoa. One can only imagine how skewed these studies are going to be. Yet, if the results show a positive health benefit in any way, news articles will be written and people will share them, netting the industry a far greater return in their investment. They're just investing in advertising. The alcohol industry gets together to do a scientific ad. They need to keep people happy about their drinking or it's all over. So any little correlation between alcohol and good health, no matter how tenuous or sketchy, helps them keep you addicted and sell more booze. You might think that marketing and advertising don't work on you. You're too smart. But facts say they do. Well, will I believe it? Let's do our own research. Oddly, they work even better on your subconscious beliefs because you don't think the ads are having an effect. Thinking that they have an effect helps it get into our subconscious brain more. You believe you're immune to advertising, so you don't put up walls against it. You don't question the validity of the claims, and because you don't actively question things, the alcohol, the pro-alcohol messages seep right into your brain, where you can keep on conditioning to consume greater and greater, and maybe me, even greater amounts of alcohol. And all those viral videos, social media articles, memes, and funny drinking quips your friends share with you, that's all advertising. It's all conditioning, and we let it into our minds without hesitation. Today, think about what you're letting into your mind. Be conscious of, even after we finish this experiment, it'll be good to be conscious of how society's trying to get us to think. What advertising do we see? Just on the train to work, I see everywhere they're trying to get our attention, trying to get us to think. Yeah, be aware, I guess. Do you even question the truth anymore? Does it matter that headlines are deliberately misleading you just to get a click and make a few cents off you? And examine your own social media sharing behavior. Do you find yourself scanning headlines and sharing them without actually reading or understanding the article? Does that bother you, that you're sort of maybe part of this system? Oh, I agree with the headline. Let's share it to my friends. What would you like to do about it? Let's get some reflections from Manny. Alcohol is the new cigarette. My parents both smoked and typically had highballs after a long day. It was the sophisticated, intelligent lifestyle. Both my parents died of lung cancer. Today, we know that smoking is harmful to everyone's health. It is highly addictive and very difficult to quit once you're hooked. Very few people smoke casually. Smoking is considered unwise, and people who refuse to quit or can't quit are thought of being addicted and unable to overcome this problem. As opposed to being cool with all the cowboy movies, which may have been what they were thought smoking was when they started. Years from now, we have been saying the same things. We may be saying the same things about alcohol. We may be recognizing that although some people can manage having a drink once a month or on a special occasion, this is by far the exception and not the rule. Yeah, it could be true. Most people will either be drinking regularly or not drinking at all. There's probably not a lot that are in the middle. Interesting question. I don't know. I'll ponder. Perhaps we will be recognizing that so many lives have been lost and or negatively impacted by alcohol. I am beyond grateful for this program and the learning we are all receiving and applying to our lives. Thanks, Manny, for your thoughts. You got me pondering. Sunny. I feel great. Good. It matches your name. Sunny. You should feel great, Sunny. You should feel sunny. Sunny says, I've gone from feeling very sleepy, falling asleep for naps in the day and crashing hard in the evening to having an abundance of energy. Maybe we might end up with more energy. I've crossed some thresholds. I have been healing and my newfound energy is a good sign. The tricky thing is that I've felt my craving for a drink more intensely. I think it's because I'm forgetting how horrible it makes me feel. So I remind myself of the hangovers the self-loathing, and the wasted days. I know my cycle with it. Yeah, same. Like before when I was feeling a red wine and I was like, yeah, I got to remember, yeah, that's nice, but the hangover, the wasted day the next day. What do I want to do? What do we want to do with our life? Put ourselves back in the driver's seat. Mr. Alcohol is taking the wheel. 1 or 2 drinks here and there will spiral downward to a bottle at night. I don't want to go back there again, so I'm going to continue to move forward. It's getting better all the time. The scale has started to budge. I'm wanting to get out and move after work, get exercise. I still haven't gone to the gym. I'm journaling, doing some real therapy and dealing with past hurts. Finally, this is totally the way to go. Totally the way to go. Excellent. All right. I'm thinking this is the way to go. I definitely will get through this now. When I started, I really didn't. I was unsure. Like I said, I was willing to be sitting here with a drink. So these videos, so thank you for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow, and I will get to say how good looking you are. Yeah, you're a bit of a looker. Thanks for sitting with me on my couch. You good looking person, you. And put a beauty emoji like lipsticks or a pretty girl. Something that, what does beauty mean to you, good looking? Yeah, lipstick. Put that down there. People will be like, why? Why is he emojiing lipstick? We will know, because you're the elite. Who would watch the video to the end? Good looking people would. And good looking people wear lipstick. So, that's why, and it's our secret. Shh, don't tell anyone. The lipstick emoji, that's enough. You know what you should be doing. Finding the lipstick emoji and putting it in the comments. And I'll know, like, oh, that person's good looking. I'll go look at your profile. Oh, wow. You good looker. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Cheers.